Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this live podcast where I am going to be talking about combining Vedic astrology and Hatha yoga into a program that I like to call Navagraha Yoga. Really, what that means is 9 planets yoga. And really, when we take a look at the signs and the chakras, they actually they integrate into one solid system. When you look at the lordship of each chakra and each sign and how they're ruled. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through each sign and each chakra, and I'm going to show you how your karma is actually stored inside your chakras in your body. So if you're not familiar with the chakra system, there's 7 chakras that go from the bottom of the spine all the way up to the forehead, and each one of these chakras let's see, 5 of the chakras are actually represented by let's see, 2 signs. So there's 10 signs right there, and then there's one for the sun and one for the moon. Okay, so we're going to be going through that. So to begin with, um, here, oops, sorry about that. What is Vedic astrology? Well, if you're not familiar with actually what Vedic astrology is and how it relates to yoga, it's a study of karma over your lifetimes. I mean, multiple lifetimes. It's a tool for predicting the timing of karmic events. So when we talk about Vedic astrology, what we're really looking at is we're looking at your karma. This is basically your karma map, how you actually operate on a really deep subconscious level. Okay, it's also too, we use it for recording our samskaras. And what is a samskara in yoga? A samskara is a deep subconscious proclivity. It's really what makes us tick on a very deep level, and we use the astrology chart to see how this relates to the chakras and how these samskaras are activated by transits of planets and things like that. And also too, it's the makeup of our prakriti. So this relates to let's see, Ayurvedic health, Ayurvedic medicine, and Indian medicine in general. So here's basically, I got this from, I give credit to the, let's see, what is it? The Science of Kriya Yoga. And this was written by Goswami Kriyananda. The book is about 30 years old. And what this kind of shows is how each sign is ruled by a particular planet. And so really what Goswami Kriyananda did is he basically took the signs of the Zodiac and related it to a particular chakra. And so what I do is I actually use Vedic astrology. So if you take a look at these chakras here, this actually shows that other than the sun and the moon, each chakra has a feminine and masculine side. And so really when we're talking about the forehead or the sun chakra, the sun represents the masculine side, and then the back of the head, kind of near the medulla oblongata, that's the moon chakra, and that represents the feminine side. And then as we go down through the rest of the 5 chakras, each one of those, as you'll see, the kundalini is actually wrapped around the kundalini is wrapped around each chakra, and each side of that kundalini is represented by the sun and the moon. So as we go through each of these sides, we'll kind of see how this unfolds. This is actually really cool how this works out. So this is a good picture here, also too, from the spiritual science of Kriya Yoga, of actually how this plays out. So as you can see, you got the sun center there, and that's going to be the masculine energy. So of course, the path of your prana goes in with the breath and out with the breath, and it flows in through the moon chakra. It wraps around the kundalini and it comes back up again. And so this is really, when we talk about yoga and breath and pranayama, it's really taking control of the flow of these 2 nadis. These 2 nadis are actually, and you can see down there, it kind of represents the what is it, the scepter of Mercury, and also too, that's the medical symbol that's also represented by the kundalini. But this is also deeply tied in with astrology and Vedic astrology. Now, what I'm going to do is actually use more of a Vedic astrology. Goswami Kriyananda uses Western astrology, so I never really understood why he decided to do that, but really the same basic principles apply. So to me, it makes more sense to use the sidereal zodiac instead of the tropical. So that's kind of the major differences there. Now, first of all, let's start off with the Saturn chakra. This is the base chakra, and this rules the signs of Aquarius, ruled by the sun, and Capricorn, ruled by the moon. So each chakra really has a overall theme represented by the planet that it's ruled. So in this case, it's Saturn. So we have security, longevity, structure, and control really at the base root. And so when we look at this, first looking at the sign of Aquarius, let's just be sure I got the right slide here. Aquarius is actually really kind of like I believe this is the feminine side, but anyway, it's if you look at the ascendant, your moon and sun. So what I decided to do is I decided to take each one of these your descendant, moon, and the sun, and kind of break it down into what it means. So Aquarius, really, it's about, you know, originality, creativity, human. It's like a humanitarian sign. You know, with the sun in Aquarius is personal activity, strong intuition, sense of inner freedom. You know, another thing that's associated with Aquarius is sense of humor. So you look at this here, love of jokes, fun. It's the Aquarians, really, it's the sign of the people. It's a sign, it's a humanitarian sign. Aquarians, though, generally do not like to be in control. So you want to keep that in mind if you have planets in Aquarius. It's really not a leadership sign. It's really more of like a humanitarian, people oriented. It's like the sign of the masses. Okay. So now what we have is a sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is a little bit different because it brings in more of like the focused energy. So whereas in Aquarius we had like fun loving, and it's kind of weird that Saturn rules Aquarius. In the Western astrology it's ruled by Uranus, which makes a little bit more sense. But really, I mean, Capricorn is about discipline, goals, getting things done. As you see here with your moon in Capricorn, sober view of the world, significant impacts on feelings. So really it's Capricorn is very good at setting long-term goals. Capricorn is very good at business, accounting, finances, anything where they keep the long view in mind. However, there's kind of like this, when we think about how Capricorns express emotion, there's a lot of emotional repression with Capricorn because they like to keep it deep down, and you kind of see that Saturn influence working on the moon there. So the next one, so just as an example of a pose, so one pose that actually works out the Saturn or the root chakra is the warrior pose. So if you look at this, this is going to help you alleviate some of that difficult Saturn karma that you might be experiencing, okay? And I'm actually going to give you examples of other poses too, but if you look at the spiritual science of Kriya Yoga, it's got a whole list of poses for each chakra. And if you want to book a consultation, we can talk more about practice. Now, the Jupiter chakra, the Swadhana, say that 10 times fast. I'm not exactly a Sanskrit expert, but it's ruled by it rules the signs of Sagittarius and Pisces. So as you kind of see, there's a little bit of order to this too. So if you kind of take the chart and then flip it up on its side and you use the sun and moon, Leo and Leo in Cancer is kind of like the head. It wraps around the Kundalini. So we're talking about the Pisces and Moon. So really, like really base Jupiter traits are wisdom, luck, education, and expansion. These are just a few of the karakas, or a karaka is a significator. Jupiter's got like 50 of them. So really, I mean, for a full list of karakas, you can look this stuff up. But really, there's always a base, like it's an archetype, a base archetype to each planet. So when we're talking about the sign of Sagittarius, when I think about Sagittarians, I think about optimism, okay? Characterized by optimism. And you're going to see this in each one of these each one of these descriptions. It's also too, there's part of these descriptions are kind of relate to their natural house significators, and Sagittarius is the natural significator of the 9th house, okay? But really, I mean, Sagittarians are all about higher purpose, optimism, drive. It's a fire sign, so there's a lot of energy. However, on the negative side, there's a lot of black and white thinking. So Sagittarians also can get very irritated, and they can also be perfectionists, okay? So that's one of the sides of Sagittarius that people don't really talk about too much. Now, Pisces it's kind of interesting. It's a lot different than Sagittarius in the fact that it's a very emotional sign. So Pisces is a water sign, and Pisces really has a lot to do with like feeling and trying to connect with people on a very deep emotional level. So really it says sensitive and compassionate people. I mean, that's very true. Kindness, compassion, and here like the sun of Pisces, high psychological aspect for sensitivity. So sensitivity is also something that's very typical with Pisces. They take things very personally. And the reason why is what I found with Pisces is they want to make a connection. This is like the natural significator of the 12th house. And what they want to do is they want to make a connection with somebody. And so where Pisces are prone to depression is sometimes they feel like they're misunderstood because the connection that they want to develop with somebody else is on an extremely deep level. I mean, we're talking about like almost like a psychic intuitive bond, okay? So the pigeon pose, this is actually very good for the Jupiter chakra. So this, if you have a lot of excess Jupiter chakra energy in your chart, this is really going to help alleviate that and help balance this over time. Okay. Now the Mars chakra, this one, this is where my ascendant is. It's the Manipura chakra, rules the zodiac signs of Aries and Scorpio. So the Aries sign is the masculine and the Scorpio sign is the feminine. Now, when we say masculine and feminine, you have to kind of throw the gender stereotypes out the window. You have to think of this more of energy. So like masculine energy is very active, activating, outgoing. Feminine energy is very receptive, okay? So really the masculine energy flows, if energy flows from masculine to feminine, so keep that in mind. So really it's action, but it's also too, Mars is a very masculine sign, conflict, and I'm sorry, masculine planet. Conflict, and also too, it's a karaka of intelligence too. So a well-placed Mars makes somebody, a very in-depth thinker, all right? So Aries, all right, Aries usually gets a bad rap, but really Aries has a lot of intense energy. Really, it's primordial strength. It's the first sign in the zodiac. So this is all about action, 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 getting things done. Impulsiveness, not really thinking through action. Of course, people tend to be very in Aries, there's also a propensity for a little bit of violence. Like there's a temper actually. So Aries gets angry, but they don't stay angry for very long. So it's an intense, passionate anger, but it subsides really quick. But one of the signs of Aries that people don't really realize is that they're very spiritual people as well. This is also the sign of leadership, the army, generals, people in the military. Sports actually is very popular with Aries too. Mars in Aries usually indicates somebody that's an athlete or into sports, okay? Next we have Scorpio. All right, so Scorpios are very interesting. I mean, this is like the sign of passion. This is a sign where people love to come down to really come to conclusions. Also the sign of the occult. It's people that like to get to the bottom of secrets, but they're also very secretive individuals. So when you look at the moon in Scorpio, you have to be a little bit careful about this because the moon is considered debilitated in Scorpio. And really what that means is it has difficulty functioning at its full level. So people that have the moon in Scorpio gets very upset, but it's also too, the passion can be misdirected. So Scorpios need to be very careful about being passive aggressive, okay? It's kind of like the people where if you insult them, they'll be like, oh, hey, everything's okay, then go out the back door and slash your car tires, So, I mean, that's just, a comedic metaphor, but it's really it's somewhat kind of symbolic of Scorpio, but really this is also the sign of the occult too. So people that have a lot of planets in Scorpio, very intuitive, psychic, tarot card readers, astrologers. Also, Aquarius is also the sign of astrology, by the way. All right, so the seated staff pose. This is also great for relieving constipation. Yuck, yuck, yuck. But no, really, anything where you suck in your gut and kind of do a bandha really activates that Mars chakra. And when we're talking about Mars chakra, we're talking solar plexus. There's actually a bundle of nerves in there. I mean, if you ever had one of your jerk off friends slap you in the stomach and you're like, "Wah!" That's because they hit that bundle of nerves, okay? So really there are some physiological correspondences with these nerve centers in the chakras too, which is very amazing to me. So now, Venus, the Anahata chakra, this rules the heart, okay? So sweet. So this is Libra and Taurus. Okay, I actually thought Taurus actually represents the masculine and Libra is the feminine, but actually no, it's the other way around. So bliss, beauty, art, and also the feminine. Okay, so Mars, or I'm sorry, Venus is a natural indicator of the feminine. Anything female, things that are associated with women, is really ruled by Venus. So wherever Venus is placed in your chart, it also shows how you are in a relationship. Okay, it's a karaka for marriage too. So Libra. Okay, so Libras are really, when you think about Libra, you look at the symbolism of the scales. These people always try to find balance in their lives. Natural negotiators, very social. The qualities of Venus also find they find beauty in things. They like nice stuff. Okay, one of the things that I see about Libras is they tend to have difficulty making decisions with stuff. So what they do is. Um, Libras actually tend to, I'm trying to think. So Libras like try to seek balance, and what they'll do is they'll try to make this balance seeking and they'll put it out on somebody else. Okay. So Libras, you really need to be careful about owning your own stuff and be sure that you're not putting decisions out. They have difficulty making decisions too. But this is great for diplomacy, lawyers, people that are highly educated. This is the sign of law. All right. Now, Taurus. Taurus is probably the sign of material wealth, prosperity, business. People like Tauruses love music. Tauruses love music. They love dance. Anything related to fine art. The moon is actually exalted in Taurus. So really this people that are Tauruses are, how do I say they're steady. They work at a slow pace. They're stubborn too, but they're they're not quick to anger, but when they get pissed, they get really pissed, and they stay pissed for a long time. All right. So this is the camel pose, all right? This is great because what it does is it really opens up this chest area. So any stretches or any poses that open up your kind of your chest area, really you can feel it. It focuses on that general area. And also too, there is a bundle of nerves right above the heart that really corresponds with your Venus chakra. I mean, if you've done enough meditation, you can actually feel that heart center activated, and I have too. And it's pretty much, I think this is where I'm trying to think of the word for bliss in Sanskrit. Geez, it's escaping my mind now, but this is actually where you feel it. Ananda, that's what I was looking for. This is actually where you feel Ananda. And I think if you do enough yoga, this really activates that heart center. So, you do it enough and you can actually really be in a blissful state all the time. But too much of a good thing will take you away from your worldly duties. So Yogi says, always keep 2 feet on the ground. So the next one is the Mercury chakra. This one actually, this rules of, I love this because actually blue is my favorite color. So I really find that the Mercury chakra is a very beautiful, the symbolism surrounding it is very beautiful. And so here we have Gemini and Virgo. So really, when we talk about Mercury, it's communication, speech, technology, and actually astrology. Along with Uranus, it's the planet that signifies astrology. So if you've got a well-placed Mercury and a well-placed Uranus, and these two aspect each other and they're in a great aspect, this is the combination for geniuses, okay? So anyway, we're talking about Gemini and Virgo. So there's two distinct differences between Gemini and Virgo, and I'll go over that. So Gemini, when I think of Gemini, I really think about divergent thinkers. These are the people that see the big picture. They see things from such a far, like 10,000-foot view that it's very difficult for them to bring it down into detail. So, but really what this does is it kind of taps into that ideational plane, this plane of creativity where you can actually channel great ideas. The thing is, so when they talk about ADHD, it's not that people don't pay attention. It's just Gemini people have their mind is always going and it's going from one thought to the next thought to the next thought. They're also very easily bored. Now, this is really an intelligent sign, like Mars in Gemini denotes a high level of intelligence. Mercury in Gemini, high level of intelligence, really great processing ability. So this is as the sign of also too like mass media communication, creativity, information technology, stuff like that. These people are just natural information processors. Now, like Sagittarius, because there's always like when you look at one sign, you can look at the opposite sign. There's always this dichotomy going on. So there's always, Gemini is very subjective to black and white thinking. So who has a lot of planets in Gemini? Donald Trump. Donald Trump really symbolizes Gemini very much so. So whether you like him or not, he's got like 4 planets in Gemini. So keep that in mind. Virgo. So Virgo is where Mercury, that's Mercury's exaltation point. And so how Virgo's the opposite of Gemini because of the way it processes information in a very narrow, focused, organized way. So really, these people are very practical. They have a really great they're pure too. Virgo, the Virgin. I mean, they're all about purity, about reaching purity. This is actually sign of this is the sign of healers, right? The sign of doctors, people that are in helping professions, healing professions, often have good planets in Virgo, right? Especially ascendant, sun, and moon. I've actually seen too hatha yogis. For some reason, I see them have their ascendant in Virgo. That's kind of odd. I haven't really placed why that is. So, really, with good communication and just hard workers, man. Virgos are also extremely successful because they're more than willing to put in the hard work to get things done. All right. So the plow pose, anything that actually engages your neck muscles. So, anything that, like headbanging, if you want to listen to some Slayer, Metallica, or Pantera or something like that, that will engage the Mercury chakra. Just kidding. I'm talking about stuff like plow pose and things like that. It's really, and also to the banda where you put your neck down. Be very careful though, because I don't want you to like break your neck or anything funky like that, because that would suck, right? Broken necks are not good. All right, good. So anyway, I took the sun and moon and kind of put them together. It's actually the Ajnan chakra, and it's divided into 2 parts. So there's actually 6 chakras, but we say 7, but the sixth chakra is divided into one. As you can see, there's one going in and one going out. So basically, when you look at Leo is basically the pure essence of the ego principle. So, people leaders, people that are dignified, people like to be the center of attention, bravery, really the lion signifies as well. So when you have the sun in Leo, this is like almost a pure expression of I or the id. You're the ego and the sense of self is born in Leo. And this is also the Ajna chakra too. It represents the Bindu point. This is where, or when yogis are kind of rolling their eyes up, this is what they're staring at is Leo. So really, when we see Leo, we see like leadership, kings, government officials, politicians. Aquarius is also a political sign too. Leo and Aquarius are kind of like they're political, but they're kind of working different ways. So if you think of Leo as leadership, you think of Aquarius as people in a political sense. Okay. Now, Cancer, being the opposite of Leo, is it's almost like the pure expression of that moon or emotional energy. So people that have planets or ascendants or sun in Cancer, they're very caring. They wear their emotions on their sleeve. They can really intuit people's emotions. Really, the best advice that I give Cancers is when you're in a relationship, you give way, way more than you'll ever get back. And when they don't get that back, that's when they become depressed. And also, too, this is a sign of codependency, okay? If you're a Cancer, you're probably a very clingy individual. So, there's a flair for the dramatic. Like I said, this is like a very emotional sign. However, it's a sign of healing, like compassion, religion, actually, on Cancer. Like Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. This shows like people that are preachers, pastors, and all that stuff. So really good stuff there. And now the headstand, if you're able to pull this off like our friend in the picture, which I can't, usually I end up falling on my ass, but you could probably use a wall, use a pillow and stuff like that and like watch your neck. This is anything where you're standing on your head activates both of these chakras, okay? Now, how do we know where there's a chakra imbalance or things that are inactivated? Well, Shadbala score, position and house and sign, the transits of the planets, and also the dasha system. All these come together, and I use these during my consultations to help help people kind of balance out their chakras. So, all right, if you're watching today, I really want to thank you. And if you want to book a consultation, all the links are below. And of course, yeah, if you want to follow me on Periscope too. Appreciate that. But yeah, otherwise, have a great day. Stay healthy and yoga on.